Welcome back to Improvision Entertainment. My name is Hunter Munn, and this is probably the end of this stream. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying to take us from Italy over to the Iberian Peninsula. We're going to double check our map situation at the moment. It is taking us along land. We are going for a pricey yacht delivery. We're going to see if we can get any more road coverage we didn't. Well, that's pretty much exclusively road we've been on before. There's Nice. Okay. I know we're going to end in a place that we haven't been. Okay, we haven't hit here. So we're going to take the yacht on a little victory lap. We'll do that. Looks like we're missing a question mark in Bayonne. How long is this trip? That's probably 2 recordings. Wait, 27 hours? Oh, I'm sorry. Look at that. That's probably 3 recordings. Alright, well. In for a penny, in for a pound. Gaffer's theoretically here with me. It doesn't have to be anywhere for a few hours. We have to not tip the yacht. Oh, hold on. And then, of course, we've got the garage. Yeah. We need... That should be good. 3 more. Eventually, I'll click the right button. I've been at this for a while. Almost 7 hours. Try to stay as long as possible. Understood. No pressure. Where was I building up? Oh, Paris. We're going to need more long distance from Paris since it is pretty land-based from a lot of places. Too bad I can't say buy 3 of a truck. That would be nice. We can almost buy... Okay. Now we have to focus on getting another warehouse. Oh man, the money is happening right now, guys. Oh, but all the low rankers are happening too. We're actually buying recruiting dudes so frequently that we're running out of good employees. Well then, I guess that means we'll stick to the women. You know, giving more people more opportunities, though. Alright, we are fully decked out. There's not a lot of Russia in here, but I might ask Gaffer of the few places that are technically Russia in the game where I should put down a warehouse.
Get ready to turn.
Oh. And I need to start the audio. Back up. We were listening to MacBreak Weekly, and we still are.
Of like, well, yeah, but it's a lot less useful.
Do you think
if
the
it's a Wi-Fi
carriers...
only? But
You buy garages in port cities because some drivers take orders and then take the ferry?
I think it's Apple.
Okay.
I think it's the complexity of a product that was built to be tied directly to an iPhone, and them trying to kind of like unpick all the complexity of that over time.
And I just don't think there's a lot of people asking them to do it. so like they're just
14% damage.
yeah, okay.
If I see a place to repair, I will probably do that.
So, I guess, right? That's Apple's attitude.
They seem to sell a lot of iPhones to people who use
Oh.
iPhones primarily.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
they seem to
all right,
sell a lot,
Gaffer.
even
Yeah.
iPads to people
I
who
thought
use
you
phones
weren't
primarily.
expanding your
Windows is
organization, but
80%
all right. If you're
of
doing
the
that,
world market.
I will
Android
take
is
that as a
also
pro tip.
The majority of mobile installations right now, and the Apple, and remember that one of the most brilliant things that Apple did in marketing the Apple Watch was positioning it not just as a wonderful piece of technology, but as a style item. And so if you have this thing on your wrist, it's like having a cultural icon, a cultural touchstone on your wrist as well. So yeah, I'm not saying that there's like Apple's being flooded with telegrams and Instagrams asking from Android people saying please we have money for you, we would love to buy an Apple Watch. But I do think that if they made the announcement that We are Android world. We are taking pity upon you. We know that your smartwatch world absolutely sucks. We are now going to own that market by simply allowing you to buy an Apple. By introducing either an Android version of the Apple Watch app, or just by simply saying doesn't matter. You no longer have to have an iPhone to get this thing working. I think that they would move a lot of Apple Watches if they did that.
I think the iPad thing makes a lot of sense. I think that if they built an Android management tool for the watch, I think I'd be looking into the skies to see if I could hunt for pork. Because there'd be some pigs flying around. I just don't think I don't think they're going to touch it, because
that would be a lot of work for them.
It is such a as someone who has worked on apps for the iPhone and Android. The Android the fragmentation.
Anybody see a place to repair the truck? We should stop and do it.
There's just a lot of landmines.
Because it's going to start cutting out on us soon. We're damaged enough.
Apple, they would just go, well, why would I do that? Like, I just don't.
Hey,
think
George made me 2000. Nice.
Anything.
2.8.
iTunes for Windows was never any good.
I'm using it right now to listen to this podcast, guys.
Apple TV Plus on the TVs is
terrible.
Horribly underpowered.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It's terrible.
And, it was a horrible idea.
Yet they did it.
And
right?
They did it, and I think that I don't know what the truth is, but I bet you they regret it, because it just has been the performance has been so bad. Well, I can tell you the people who are making content for it those are the people I know, and not at Apple. I'm just saying in general. The thing is that if something's going to break when you're streaming something or sending something out, it's going to be in the Apple TV. On those TVs, not on the TV itself is way overpowered. The Apple TV is way overpowered for what it does. The televisions are way underpowered.
Right. They put crap processors on those.
Yeah, just dog doo-doo.
And yet, just as a sidebar, companies much smaller than Apple seem to be okay with doing that. They managed to
because everyone's fine with really bad video. Yeah.
They just want to be there, right? They just want to be there. They want to be on every TV, and
they do.
That's what Apple wants.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
And maybe someday you'll buy an Apple.
As long as I don't damage the cargo, that's what's important.
At least you can watch Severance on your,
Or you try it on your TV, and if you don't like it, you get a Roku stick or something too. I mean, there are other ways to go between what's on my TV and buying an Apple TV.
Yay!
Realizing the TV is a giant security hole, and you should never allow it.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows. At least every sophisticated user knows. Smart TVs are horrible. Just horrible all around.
They're pretty horrible.
Respect.
Why are they so inexpensive?
Oh, because they know everything you're doing.
Yeah.
They have microphones on them. Many of them have cameras on them.
The power switch on my 65-inch 4K HDR TV has been blinking white and a pause to tell me that, oh, by the way, I can't connect to Wi-Fi for some reason.
Yeah.
And you're right. I should do something about that. And so I put a strip of black tape over it.
I never connect them, but you do have to once in a while just to update them. But then
Gaffer says it's very difficult to keep because I confess you make cool and beautiful intro for YouTube videos. I'm sure you like it, but if anything, you can always make changes. Just saying. Okay. Well, you'd be the first person to really give me feedback about the intro specifically. So what have you got? Because my plans are that I want to modify the window interface. For example, where I am right now, down here in the bottom left corner of the screen, or bottom right if I'm driving the other type of truck, I would like to make this box over here look like that box over there that the actual mini-map is on.
Endpoint security, a much better way. IT admins,
I would like to shrink the Improvision Entertainment logo with the little bug on screen and make it like a banner across the top.
And of course, you have to safeguard
and do that for Rocket League too.
But do you really?
Well, what do you got for me, Gaffer?
Shop into 1984. Traditional MDMs give the
what are you thinking about how I do this screen? I have many ideas, and I just need to get off my ass and actually do them because they're all doable. It's not like I'm doing pie in the sky.
Employees are inevitably going to use their work laptops for personal activities, so now suddenly they're really concerned about privacy because you've got surveillance capabilities you didn't want, like access to photos and browser history. Before you know it, your end users are complaining about all the security agents slowing down their laptops. Developers are frustrated by the lack of autonomy. And here's the worst case scenario. People start using their personal devices just to get things done.
Wait, did we start an ad and I missed it?
The trap of top-down security, but it's not the only way. Kolide, K-O-L-I.
Oh, we are doing an ad.
Endpoint security solution.
1 second.
Built around honest security. Their philosophy is employees aren't your biggest security risk. They're your biggest. It's going to be great.
They're doing some really clever stuff, too. A user of the beta discovered that the always-on screen turns off. If you're an Apple Watch
Choose a very
user, when
safe
you leave
location
the
for
room,
everything on
the
stream.
screen turns itself off because it realizes, okay, if he's not in the room, he's probably not going to be looking at
Well,
the
I
screen, so
used to
it's
make
safe
it
to
more
turn the screen
variable.
So smart.
If you mean like
Love that.
the video is like at the intro and outro,
You know, I mean,
the game is always on the left of me, I'm always on the right, the Improvision Entertainment logo is above me, the voting thing is in the bottom right corner. Like, it wasn't always that way, but what I started doing was making a generic starting thing that was easier to modify, that has all the settings, and I just opened that up every time I want to make a new setting thing. And as a result, lots of things have ended up about the same size and placement. Is that what you mean? Like the layout?
Ming Chi Kuo says, I don't know if he knows.
Ming Chi Kuo knows. He's not terrible. He knows everything about the supply chain.
He knows about the supply chain, so I would trust him on supply chain things. He says that initial sales of the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus are disappointing, not so good.
Well, this is know your pundits, right? Know your sources. Ming Chi Kuo has great supply chain sources. I don't know if he has great sources for direct sales numbers that would only be known to certain people inside Apple, probably, right? Like, I'm skeptical of that report, but you know, you never know, because it does lead to them cutting back on hardware orders, right? If they think the sales are going to be soft.
Making an intro that would be for the video itself, before your greeting?
As one might expect, because everybody wants Dynamic Island, right?
I'd like an intro for the stream.
For the Dynamic Island.
Oh, wait, you mean like... Oh, okay.
But these
all right.
14, now, the problem with the 14
I hear what you're saying,
is you can't
and I understand, and I respect that decision, because it is something I could do. But here's the thing.
Pushed back a couple of,
right now, in order for me to take a video that I snip out for YouTube and post it up to YouTube, that requires me to start and stop the video, start the video, do the video, stop the video, upload the video. If I have to make any edits, then I have a program called Avidemux, which what it does is it allows me to chop up a video, and if I need to take out sections of the video, or if I need to cut a video and make a generic intro or outro, I can record an intro or outro using the same settings and splice it together, take it apart, using Avidemux, which doesn't require any more transcoding. It doesn't require me to modify the video. It's basically just cutting and pasting the video with the video, and it's no big deal. But at the point at which I would have a custom intro for the YouTube and the outro for the YouTube, I would have to put all the video files together, because there's no way that one video file is going to be consistent as far as like the same file type that I use on streaming.
Like the pre-order crowd is not your
I don't think.
Buyer,
and then like it requires some possibly, but basically what I'm saying is, in order to put an intro and an outro, I basically have to transcode the video together if it's a different video setting. I'm very uncomfortable traveling next to this truck. It's making me very uncomfortable.
Very focused group, and you may learn something from that, but I feel like that is not going to tell you the whole story.
So while I'm not opposed to it, it does inherently generally make more work.
Offline pre-order survey for iPhone 14 series in China. Oh, maybe because it's in China, they know more, right? They know all. The total allocation for 14 Pros, the Pro models, 85%. Order allocation for the 14.
Not that I'm opposed to it. Wait, are you saying you're making an intro for me? Or you're making an intro for somebody, like, just in general, you're making an intro for, like, somebody's YouTube video. Slap.mp4 before the whole video on your software and you're good to go?
They will sometimes, like, hint at what the mix is like.
That's very kind of you.
This is their
Is Hunterman in it?
Interesting, not their moonshot.
I hope Hunterman's in it.
Gamble, right? Which is, let's make a bigger low-end phone, and what will that do? Like, will that sell?
I've been wanting to do a big like Toonami style 3D thing. Not that I could do it, but like I would like to commission somebody to do it for like stream stuff.
They care enough to get the Pro Max, and they're just not going to buy the Plus. I don't know if anybody really knows the answer, and this is, the Mini didn't work out for them, which is sad because I love mine, but it didn't, and so they're trying something else. But it's a real
MP4. How to say?
They don't know ahead of time.
You can't
do surveys, but
you can't snip up or concatenate video that's of a different standard without transcoding the whole thing.
If you want to save money,
but if you made me an intro, I'd figure it out.
And if you want a big screen,
it would require more work on my part.
More and get the dynamic
but
island.
It does seem like there's folks that
it would be pretty cool.
People that I know, and it's just anecdotal, are either getting the Pro or they're getting one of the older versions. They're not getting the smaller.
What type of intro are you making?
Of the smaller new versions.
So iPhone 16 came out yesterday.
iOS. Yeah.
Did I say iPhone? I meant iOS.
Yep, that's okay. We were talking about that all day.
Yeah, you know what I mean. A few
iPhone OS.
There's a search button where the 3 dots used to be, but not on my phone. On the 12, only on the. At least it's 13. I don't know why that is. But you can still get to the search by sliding down. You'll know immediately on the lock screen that you've got iOS 16 because the font has changed on the time. That's very visible. And oh yes, if you could only see it, there is a little percentage on my battery. I turned that on. Anything else? Jason, I'm sure you've been using it for a while.
Yeah, the whole lock screen is editable, right? I mean, that's one of the big features. And whether you've got the new iPhone Pro with always-on lock screen, the whole lock screen is editable now. So you can choose
edible.
There are multiple.
The whole lock screen is edible.
You can choose colors.
Anime frame-by-frame animation in After Effects with of Improvision Entertainment logo. Well, all right. What have you got? Because I had ideas about that, but like kind of.
I'm looking in settings.
When do you think you'll have like a
Oh, no wonder I didn't find that.
It's not called a storyboard.
Tap and hold here.
And then
An animatic? I think an animatic. Like a demo of the animation. Do you have something like that?
Millions of customization options in there if you add them all together.
Oh.
Because in my head, I've kind of had a vision of how I'd animate the Improvision Entertainment logo. But I mean, if you're already doing it,
so you can at a glance whether
I'm not going to argue with
even on older phones.
Good
you
work.
Can set those widgets up so that you can get some app data that floats out all the way up onto your lock screen.
Oh, let's add the weather. Add the weather.
Still in progress.
Set
All right.
Wallpaper pair. This is like focus. There's like 8,000 settings. I don't even know what this means. Set as wallpaper pair. Okay, fine.
Well, yeah.
What?
So what it's done is it's as a wallpaper pair. It's got the. It's got a version
Trying to do it AFAP.
Oh, it's suggesting that I have Micah Sargent as my wallpaper. Sure.
I don't know what AFAP is.
Yeah, you see, he's got the depth effect on
But
there.
it
where
sounds
he's actually
kinky.
Partially in front of the time.
And now he's. Oh yeah, cool. And now he's a wallpaper pair. My wife's not going to be happy about that. Oops. All right. So yeah, I love that. Look at that. They must have picked the.
Oh, as fast
and
as
now we
possible.
can
Okay.
put time behind.
Well,
it
I
there.
mean, you can take your time.
Right.
Like,
Well,
I'd like
it's probably
to
also picking
pay you for
frame,
your work,
like
but I don't know if I'll have the
a
money
frame
for
to
it.
use, I've got what I need.
Right.
You know, not just
And
that
those
I can
aren't-
cut it out, but that it's the right.
Then again, I
And those
don't
aren't
know
just
if I have a
portrait mode photos. It will
money
analyze any
situation
photo
that
and
can
catch the object
transfer
that's in
to
the foreground and
Russia.
offer it as a cutout. Yeah, there's
PayPal?
it is.
PayPal.
You can
Does
spend
PayPal work in
a
Russia?
long
I can't remember if we
time
talked about
on
this the
the
other day.
editor.
Wish I'd seen
There's
this.
a lot you can do there.
Oh, I see. So if it said it as a wallpaper pair, then I'll have Micah Sargent also as my wallpaper.
Yeah, it's your wallpaper.
Oh,
Yeah.
but it's a
you can also
blurry
set
Micah
something
Sargent.
different.
Yeah.
And you can turn the blur on and off. Like, there's so many different settings that you can do for that. It's a lot of fun. And like, yeah, you can choose a different font and have it be blue and like have it be really like unique to you if you want to, which is great, right? Because
Don't need to pay in
obviously,
any way.
this is a better feature
going
for
to be a
always
gift?
on display, right? That's
All right.
clearly why this was created. But
Right.
I think
Well,
for
thank you in
everybody,
advance.
It is a fun new addition to get more personal and then also to put data up on your
Just can't keep
I like
secrets.
this. Yeah.
And that feature for
Hey, you know, that's
something
okay
from foreground,
because,
that's even built into photos now, so that you can
I'm
let
terrible
people
at receiving
and-
surprises.
Thing, it said I have to
So-
analyze your photos before you can.
I have a very bad tendency
So
when
it's
somebody
doing
gives me
some
like a
sort of
surprise
background
gift,
processing of my.
something I wasn't
Photos.
looking
What you
forward
wanna do is
to or
tap
intending to or
customize.
wanting, that like
And then
I can't-
if you tap, and you've been tapping
I can't
done,
even
if
for
you, if you
politeness
swipe
fake
left to right now
being
on that
really into
display,
whatever it is.
you
I'm
may
sorry, did all
add-
those trees in the distance? Yeah, they're just popping in.
But you can add
Huh.
effects.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
now
mean,
you're in done mode, so you've got
No.
you got to.
Get out of done. So
I'm
this is
watching the
just-
Horizon
okay, let's go
build.
back
I don't
to
know
my
if I'm
old
used to
wallpaper.
that.
Okay. Now I press and hold.
I don't know
gotta
why I've just started to notice the
customize,
Horizon. I
but
feel
I
like the
don't
game
press
is moving
done.
slower than it's
It says
supposed to.
customize new wallpaper.
Yeah, you can't. Your existing one is sort of locked the way it is. That's
Oh,
something
so
that
I have to
they've
do
done.
something
So
different.
You have to make
Okay,
something
I'll
new.
do this one. That's my lovely
And
one.
now swipe left and right, and you'll see that you're actually gonna get
yeah, black and
different
white.
fonts.
Duotone.
Well, and look at the fonts,
fonts
up at
are
the top.
changing.
They're
Oh.
changing too. There's a whole bunch of different themes that Apple has.
All right,
built in.
Leo's
It's
being
not
led
quite
through the new
freeform,
iPhone
but
interface, apparently.
Apple's loaded in a lot of different options, so you can find something that you like probably. Including actually one of the other cool things they've done with the depth effect is that you can take do a color cast and just add it to the background of a photo. So you have somebody in front of a background, you can make the background bluer or greener or whatever you want to. There's a lot going on. It's,
So this is good.
it's
If
a
I
banner
pinch it,
feature.
I can get her head in front of the time if I pinch it just right. I pinch
Right, and if it goes too far and it's obscuring the time,
Right.
it will pop
That's
it out
cool.
of that mode.
Now I
Yeah.
can add widgets after I've picked. So let's put the weather in there. But can I move that around?
I
Calendar.
think it goes left to
Next
left
event.
to right, but you can drag them back and forth.
Okay, and then so I. But okay, I can't. Okay.
Yeah.
I got weather.
There's a lot.
News. Let's put some news in there.
This would probably be better with the
Oh,
visual
okay.
element, but I'm
You're gonna
imagining
run out
it.
of space really quick because the widget area is just right. Is
Oh,
that
that's
one
it?
line that's
Oh,
right
that's all
under?
I get?
It'll fit two
Okay.
large ones or
Okay.
a few small
And I
ones.
can't move that around. That's just going to
No.
be okay. I can only move Lisa around. Okay.
Right,
That's
and
good.
when you add the widgets, she no longer pops in front of the time.
Oh.
One thing you wanted to ask me
Your
is the
widgets-
fonts.
Right. So it's all.
Decisions.
It's all.
I forget what the improvision,
together. then I
what the
can
word
do this.
improvision is in.
But is the font linked to the pictures?
I think it's an I think it's a
No, you
Apple
can-
cursive
if you
of some
tap on
kind.
the- If you tap on the time, you can.
I'd have to look it up.
And color
Yeah.
from there.
Because there's
But,
sometimes I like better.
The entertainment, the word entertainment, is in the GameCube font, which is called GameCube N in capital letters. I found it online.
Little walk through.
A little walkthrough. You know, I guess
I can send it to
bet
you.
I wasn't the only person who went. Where's all
I
the
assume
cool
fonts
stuff?
are universal.
There's supposed to be some cool stuff in here.
Oh, and another thing that's interesting about that lock screen is that
I-
it can be locked.
I didn't
screen
realize
with
that
focus mode.
the
so
entire-
if you use focus mode, you
I
can
didn't realize that
have,
I'd
like a work
stalled.
and home screen and a
I was just coasting for a second there.
Don't bother me, lock and home screen, and all those things, and it'll change dynamically.
Oh, so
when
you could
the
have
focus
quite a
modes
few,
change.
quite a few screens then.
Yeah.
Set up. Nice.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm done, and I swipe out of it, and now I have no longer have Micah.
Semi-fonts for the names would be very
wallpaper,
cool.
which is
All right.
They go together.
nice.
If
Okay.
I don't remember to do that later,
I like that.
poke me and
Very
currently
good.
offline, and I can
Oh,
DM them
that
to
was-
you.
That was great. Now, there are some things that iOS 16 mentioned that aren't coming. Live activities
Because
will arrive later.
because
this
of all
year.
the sleeping problems I've been
That
having
lets
over
you
the past
stand
couple
up
of
for
years,
things that
it's
are
really
happening
started to
real-time
affect
right
my
from your
memory, and
watch
I'm
screen,
worried
so I
that
don't
I'm
get
getting
that
some
as
sort
much.
of
And that's the stuff that's feeding the dynamic
Like-
island as well as the third-party live activities.
like
okay, so
problem
that's coming later.
that's
Live
gonna
activities
stick
API
around
as
with
well.
my memory.
Yeah, so this is, again, I just want to say this is one of those important things where the dynamic island is going to only be some Apple apps when it launches, and then it will take a few months for Apple to roll this out to developers so that they can support it too.
I like that idea of John Travolta being on my lock screen, but okay. Without live activities, app clips won't support it when the new operating system launches. Blah, blah, blah. Freeform.
I mean,
flexible
well, no
tablets,
pressure for me
that's-
either.
that's
It's
that
not a problem.
weird
It's just
white
that I have a bad
thing
memory.
That's coming later.
They gave that a
I
big
intend to send it to
It's
you.
just puzzling.
So that
a
should
lot
be
of
easy
people
to
are gonna
do.
be asking how,
Yeah,
why
where
isn't
is it?
it's probably
but
rolling out as
if
soon
I
as
don't,
they've
it
got
won't
the
be
very
because I
latest,
chose not to. It will be because I
latest,
forgot.
Whichever OS ships.
One of the most
last,
common problems
then
with
all
forgetfulness
other
is
OS
people
gonna
attribute
get freeform, it's supposed to be processed
forgetting about
Makes
stuff
more
to
sense
how
on
much
an
you
iPad
care about it,
on a bigger
and
desktop
no,
than on a
that is
phone.
not true at all. If
Same-
you
same for the shared photo
are
library feature.
forgetful,
A lot of people
then you're
talking about
forgetful
that
regardless of how
being
important
available
you
at launch,
find
but
something to be
if
to
you put
remember.
things in the shared photo library on iOS 16 and then look at it on your iPad that's on iPad OS 15, those photos are gone. They disappear because they're in the shared library. So you really need to bring them all in sync. Like Andy said, whatever the last version is, I imagine it'll be iPad OS and Mac OS will ship simultaneously in October, and there will also be iOS 16.1 at that point, and then all that stuff will be turned on.
So, October, let's talk about it.
All right. Let's talk about October.
Apparently, some people were told at the event, see you next month. So I'm going to take that as confirmation that there will be.
The other thing about these movies is that it is a lot easier for Apple to do the movie. The movies are a big thing, but they're not all bunched up. So you can do them. What's different now is from a production perspective, you could do them much closer together because the production might start way out in advance, but those are different teams and they're overlapped and there's post and production, and so they could do them at a much higher rate.
They've probably been working on, the iPad, the new M2 chip, those videos for some time. It's just a different team doing it, right? Yeah.
Well, and there's some things that'll be at the last minute, and there'll be other things that we know we need a watch animation, and the watch animation, like all the geometry, has been done for a year.
Right.
The last year, you got the strong perspective that they actually literally pulled the iPhone segments out of that video and pushed them back a month and put them in the next video, right? It gives you the ability to drop things out and just move them somewhere else if you want to.
Yeah. So last week we kind of speculated maybe October 18th because that's the third Tuesday of October. Gives us some breathing room, times to buy all that stuff in our check.
How damaged am I right now?
Recover slightly.
14%?
Also some breathing room for the October 6th event from Google. It's not that it's going to be Google's going to be announcing a phone and a watch. God help them. So it's not as though they're really competing, but they'll probably want to get some for themselves in that event.
Take a right and then take a left.
Now, I never thought I'd say poor Google, but
I know.
Google.
I'm beyond poor Google. I'm like, oh my God! It's like, how many calories? How much of your CPU bandwidth, Google, are you spending finding new rakes to step on when it comes to wearables?
It's like, and incidentally, they announced that they're not going to make a Pixel book. Jeff Jarvis's heart is going to be broken. They had a team. I think they probably were pretty close to having a finished product, and they decided to kill it. Unbelievable.
Sundar Pichai has made it for the past. This is the summer of Sundar saying, "Hey, look, we are contracting. We're going to make sure that we're no longer wasting time, money, and effort and resources on stuff that is not necessarily."
Trying to pass out, probably try to sleep.
Mantra.
Set around 10 alarms.
That, hey, we don't need
Good luck. I know that pain.
Because we don't want to compete with people who are doing them better and cheaper than us. We're not going to do that anymore.
I think that the problem really.
If you don't sleep, you'll be back.
Let's throw things against the
wall. Well, I don't wish insomnia on anyone, so I wish you sleep.
It was
maybe even if you go quiet.
I can't wait to see what Google does next.
I've got the news to keep me occupied. I don't know if people on YouTube like that. Leave a comment down below whether you like having these audio podcasts on instead of music.
Or 10 years ago, that was like.
If you're watching later on YouTube.
I'd like to see it run for a couple years.
What the hell? What is that?
And now the people I talk to is just sort of like,
does this location exist outside of this current memory? Why was that glowing? Why were those things glowing?
We'll cancel it, and they're gonna so that they don't want to put any effort into anything.
Hey, it was great having you around for all this time, Gaffer. You've been freaking here for like.
They really feel like it's bound to the OS, and there's no way to take
wait, pretty much the beginning, right? So like 7 hours.
When they kill these projects,
it was good having you around.
Sometimes very quickly. I mean, within a series. Of years,
you told me to. What did you say? I need to be picking warehouses at docks or dock cities.
And people to jump on
5 or 6 hours. All right.
What Apple's pretty good at because they don't do as much. They don't do as much, and they do it very slowly, and
they're
behind on those things. But then they just.
It's cool having you around. It's cool having you on the Discord.
Forward, and people know.
And
and it may not go as fast, but it probably won't.
We'll see how things go with the animation thing.
If they had the most successful.
Thank you very much for the gift I haven't received yet. Hopefully it works out.
We can't make them fast enough.
If you get other commissions, obviously you prioritize them because those are money.
Well, how does Samsung feel about that, and how do all the other Android device makers? I think.
So you're going to sleep at dawn.
Like Chromebooks
all right.
and like Pixels.
See you in the future, Gaffer. Have a good one.
Successful enough that
I hope. Rest well.
And that we maintain a good example of how good this hardware can be when it works works with our software. But if they are too successful, Samsung's going to say, well, guess what? We're putting another $1 billion into Tizen development because let's have our own operating system and see how well that works for us.
I mean, the problem is that, like, for instance, when they have their software division build something that the hardware division won't put in. So when they had LiDAR, they didn't put it into the Pixel, and so LiDAR died years before, and then Apple came in, and it's magical, because it's in many different phones, and it's something that they're building out, and it's totally useful. And Google was way ahead, like it was, and I think that their LiDAR was at least as good as what Apple's putting into the phone now. But they were, and they just killed it. And part of it was they didn't put it on their own phones. Like, we had to buy those phones from China, to do tests and do development on the for LiDAR on those phones. It was just insane. It just felt insane. Like, you're rolling this out and you're not putting your own hardware.
Well, that was at a time when when they're doing the Nexus line, I think, and that's also when they were basically trying to make sure this wasn't a premium smartphone sort of thing. They were trying to keep the prices low so that they could be a good developer phone. But your point is very well taken, particularly with messaging. But yeah, for hardware too. Sometimes.
All right, we're going to see about stop at the next rest area.
That I should update my phone now that I have iOS 16 on it, because a lot of apps are updating. I noticed Halide 2, for instance, will have a lock screen widget, which they say is the most asked for feature of this high-end camera app. So I guess you can do it right from the lock screen, especially with an always on screen. That's going to be nice. That's going to be nice.
Yeah, but turn signal on, but you're not turning lanes.
Wrap it up. October, we don't know when, we don't know what, but probably new iPads, new iPad Pros, new Macs with the M2 chip. Anything else?
I'll be interested to see if the cadence. It'll be interesting to see. And the iPad, but I do think that the iPad and Mac Mini they've done that before, where they put both of those into the same event.
Yeah, and which Macs will we see?
I don't think we'll see. I don't know if we'll see the Pro in October.
16-inch laptop.
I think it'll come later.
M2 Pro or Ultra? No.
I think the Pro might come later. I think it might be a December.
And a Mac Pro later. Yeah.
There's plenty of precedent for Apple meeting a deadline.
Income $984. Oh shit!
In December we announced
it's
going to ship, and it's not going to ship in 2022.
I missed it.
But I'd be very disappointed if they don't update the iMac though. Excuse me, the Mac Mini, because that's a really bad missing piece.
That's like the best computer they've made, and so I have so many of them.
It feels like they. Yeah. They're that Intel Mac Mini that's still hanging out there because they really need a Mac Mini that's not just on an M1. It's got to be, right?
Yeah,
I think it's an open question what else there is, but the Mac Mini, I think it's got to be there.
I really like the Mac Studios, though. I mean, that's kind of, to me, a swole Mac Mini.
Well, it is
a swole Mac Mini.
I would say is that for the average person,
there's a rest area up there.
I have a Mac Mini.
Okay, I think we're going to go into Florence.
Mac Mini sitting right on top of my Mac Studio right here. And they're both great machines. It's just that the Mac Mini.
Oh wait, I'm going the wrong way.
It's just an insane value. The Studio is a good.
I've been doing this for 7 hours. What are you talking about?
Mini is an insane value at $650. And what happens is, as the developers start writing to Metal, and as we talked about this last week, but as they start really writing to the
OS, this is such a bad. Hold on.
Guided them towards doing.
I'm already past it. I'm already past it.
Keeps on yielding more and more and more. It's most of the performance issues right now are just developers not taking full advantage of the hardware.
Okay.
Again,
we're gonna get fines for driving dangerously in a moment.
Keep on digging into that. You just keep on getting. There's just more efficiency to be had.
What about a new iMac, an iMac Pro? You think that might be next month?
I don't even
anything's
know if
possible. Mark Gurman, whose sources about the iMac seem a little shaky to me, seems to say that there are no new iMacs until 2023, which is really disappointing to me.
Yeah.
Because you'd think that they could just drop an M2 in the existing iMac, and it would be nice if they did a larger iMac with a better chip. But he says that's a next year. It may be an M3 before we actually get another iMac revision, which blows my mind. But they can't just do an event with an iPad Pro and a Mac Mini, right? There's got to be some other Mac to update there. I would think maybe the MacBook Pro. It's been a year. Could they do
MacBook Pro could make sense.
MacBook Pro 14 and 16, and that would be the unveiling of the whatever the high-end M2 processors are for the first time. I think that's probably the best bet.
All right.
Well, we'll find out soon enough.
We will find out soon enough.
Just quick thing about the iMac Pro. We you remember that we didn't see the first iMac Pro came out during the year of embarrassment when Apple had to say, yeah, we had an idea for the Mac Pro. It was terrible. You all hated it. We're going to start all over again. In the meantime, here is an iMac Pro that we managed to we managed to wait for a week when Johnny Ive was away so we could cram as many fans as we could possibly fit into the iMac so that we could get top quality Intel processors into the thing and give you the high powerful workstation that you actually wanted. So I'm
very worried about hitting something going this fast.
Pro next year, but I'm wondering if they have any real commitment to continuing that line, or if they're just going to say that the iMac is the original Mac 128. It's the easy to pick up and transport from one room to another, easy to set up a room full of them.
Oh, where am I going?
Medium power to low power machines that anybody can afford, and they're saying that if you want something that is like an iMac but Pro
Did
level,
I go the wrong
buy
way?
yourself a Mac Studio, buy yourself
No.
a nicely kitted out Mac Mini.
Yeah,
I think the Mac Studios.
I think Andy is right. Like,
Oh,
there's
good. Those
no
things are not solid.
guarantee here because that iMac Pro was a one-off from a alternate timeline, right? And I love mine, but it was a one-off from an alternate timeline that Apple didn't go down. However, I think there's a read, and Mark Gurman, I know, has had some suggestions that this is going on. That's not really what they're going to do. What they're really done is they're going to give the larger. Remember, there used to be two sizes of iMac, and now there's only one. That they're going to do a larger iMac, and the way
Speeding violation.
Probably be
Of all the
iMac Pro,
things.
but we use that as shorthand. It might not be. It might just be a larger iMac. But I think there's definitely a strong possibility that they're not going to be happy with just the existing M1 iMac shape, and there might be a larger model. And that's the thing we're all, I think, shorthanding as iMac Pro. But it may not be called that, and it may not truly be a Pro level iMac. It may be an M2 and not an M2 Pro or M2 Max processor inside.
What do you think about an iMac Studio?
iMac Studio.
I love the Studio name. I think the Studio name really has some legs, and there's a bunch of interesting products that they could release. I think there could be an iPad Studio too. That's a big iPad. But an iMac Studio that instead of iMac Pro, that's a cool name. I think that would be awesome. And yes, X bonus points if it's got a touchscreen on it or Apple
pair it
Pencil
with a really great screen.
Yeah, I think that the issue really is that how much of the Mac Studio is a fan. There's a big piece of that Mac Studio that when you look at it breakdown, it's a big fan. So I think that getting the studio level performance into an iMac form factor could
Dangerously
be
close to needing to rest.
challenging in the Pro level. I think that
Don't want to be
iMac
dozing.
makes a lot of sense. You keep on getting thinner with the smaller chips, but I think when you get to the bigger ones, I think it might be difficult.
Let's see. What else is going on? We'll find out about this.
Speed it back up.
I hope. And maybe a Mac Pro in December. Congratulations to Ted Lasso. Apple TV won a few Emmys last night. Ted Lasso Best Comedy. Jason
Talk about the
Sudeikis
Emmys.
Best Lead Actor in a Comedy.
And Brett Goldstein, Best Supporting Actor in a comedy.
And of course, we looked at
Which
it.
one is he? Is he that
Roy
guy?
Kent.
It's Roy Kent.
Roy
This
Kent
guy.
on the right.
This guy right here. Okay, good.
I am very curious to see if they do tie-ins with MLS and Ted Lasso. That will be epic. Like if they start tying the show into the it just kind of blows my mind to tie both of those things because no one's ever had those two things in one place. Like total control over broadcast over the sport that you have a show about is a unique situation. There's some danger in it, obviously, of tying those things together, so they may not. But the possibilities are kind of insane.
Okay, see the marker on the map. I should be
Severance took
okay.
A couple of Emmys, main title design, which was quite good for Severance, although I always skipped it after the first one, and music composition for a series. I guess they had music. Schmigadoon, outstanding original music and lyrics for the Corn Pudding episode, and outstanding short-form comedy drama variety series Carpool Karaoke.
And then exit right.
Gosh, I thought Severance maybe should have won more, but still.
Tough competition, right?
Tough. Succession deserved, I think, the best drama. What an amazing show that is.
I'm just glad that Lizzo got to make an
Hey,
Emmy for
Lizzo.
Streaks. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, Lizzo got best reality show. Good for her.
Didn't make up for Bob Odenkirk losing, but still.
Yeah, how did that happen? But you know what? This was a tough. That's going to get harder and harder for the Emmys because it's not just network television anymore. You're competing against some good stuff.
And the hard part is that the math is so different for the streamers. You know, like it's really like watching. I mean, HBO knows it has something with Game of Thrones, so they're just dumping money into it. And then you look at Lord of the Rings, where they spent most of the money, if not all the money. And then and Amazon and Apple have very different models.
All right, for anybody who's watching later on YouTube, I would like to thank you for watching. Right. This has been Euro Truck Simulator 2, presented by Improvision Entertainment. I have been Hunter Munn, and I will see you in the future.